What's up, guys? Wanted to make another case study video with you going over my client Daniel, who has been absolutely crushing it and has seen some absolutely crazy results over the last 8 months. So before we kind of dive deep into this video and go over what we did and a lot of his progress, wanted to say that this particular client, he was on a GLP-1 supplement, and that he was having issue with. He was having some stomach problems with. He was having a really hard time with just digestion, overall health while he was on it. And then once he got on it, we were able to kind of revamp his metabolism, starting to need to build muscle, starting to get his gut feeling better, and then get him ultimately towards losing 50 and 60 pounds. Now, this video isn't meant to bash GLP-1 supplements like Ozempic. It is simply going to go over kind of his experience when he was on it, us getting off it, and then kind of his results moving forward. And I do think that sometimes GLP-1 supplements do have their place, but I think that there's a lot of, I don't want to say like misinformation, because I feel like that term's thrown around loosely, but just some unknowns about getting on them, and then some possible issues that they can cause. They definitely have their place in certain populations, but I'm going to go over kind of what we did getting off of it and how I think that you don't need that. You can lose weight rather quickly and effectively doing a handful of things that we'll go over with him. And then I'll go over a little bit of his kind of experience on Ozempic, GLP-1, and some issues that kind of he was having, just to give you guys a little bit of it. Again, not to bash GLP-1s, but just to give you a little bit of an insight of maybe there's a different way to do this rather than taking the GLP-1 supplement route because of the issues that it can cause. So I'll go over his progress. First, I'll show you guys progress photos. I'll show you his weight and everything. This is, well, probably should have showed you his weight first, but show you his progress photos first. So these actually aren't even his starting photos. So if you think like, well, that doesn't look like, that's really a 50 or 60 pound difference. This is probably a 30 or 40 pound difference between the top and the bottom. The top isn't his first starting photos. We're just a little bit, I don't have good photos from the beginning of that. They're not really a good top bottom comparison. So this is a couple months in. You can obviously see huge difference between the top and the bottom. This was probably when he was having the issues, gut issues with the GLP-1, the kind of stomach issues. He was having very much, the issues that he was having, I'll kind of talk about those, was a lot of gut issues, digestion issues. So it was kind of similar to how it would be if you had like the flu or like a stomach bug. He had that for kind of multiple weeks, and it was kind of like this ramping up effect, I would say. It kind of started off as a little issue. I recommend just kind of back the doses off, but obviously just talk to your doctor, because if that's if you're taking it and it's causing issues, and then I think that his doctor backed it off, and then he was taking a little bit less of it, and then it got a little bit better. But then once they kind of went back to the same dosage, it still was there. So he's having a lot of like gut, flu-like, stomach bug type of issues, like every single day, having trouble sleeping, and really just not feeling great from a day-to-day basis. So that was around that time up here, and then these are this past week, the photos from the bottom. And then in terms of his body weight, again, top photos were probably kind of around this time where we were kind of flatlining here. Once we kind of, in I would say October, and that we got those issues kind of resolved. It took a little bit, a couple months. He's completely off of GLP-1 at this point, the beginning of October. So from October, we got 266 all the way down to here, 230, right? So 30 pounds of weight loss from there, right? About 40 pounds total overall. Now, mind you, this client is, well, Sorry, let me back up for a second. I'm gonna kind of go over with you guys. You've seen the progress and everything. I'm gonna go over with you a timeline. I'm gonna go over kind of like the thought process, what we did, and how we kind of achieved these goals and everything. So the first thing that we did is probably back in August of 24 of last year, we found kind of his true starting point. So I mean by his true starting point is, and we do this with all of our clients that we bring in, is we kind of find their true starting point. We find that their maintenance calories with where their weight is stable at, right? Because a lot of weird things happen in your body when you eat more calories or you eat less calories. If I eat more calories, I will gain weight. If I eat less calories, I will lose weight. That weight loss isn't always good. That weight gain isn't always bad, right? If I'm trying to build muscle, I might eat a little bit more over my maintenance calories in order to build muscle. If you do that properly, you won't gain any fat, right? I do this with a lot of our women, especially, I have a particular client right now that she's like, I just want to like build muscle, and I don't want to, lose any more weight, but I also don't want to gain any fat, right? That's awesome. That's kind of what you should want, right? To reach your fitness goals. So with her, right, we're just trying to kind of actually bump her calories up. We're kind of finding that maintenance area, and then we're going to go a little bit over that. Pair that with a nice structured weight training program. You have a recipe to not gain fat, but to build about 5 to 10 pounds of muscle. 5 to 10 pounds of muscle distributed over a full-grown female or even a male human body will have a very, not bulky, but a very lean, toned kind of sexy look to it. But in order to make that decision of whether your goal is to build muscle, tone up, or to trim fat, we have to figure out where your true starting point is and where your true maintenance calorie is, because age, gender, height, weight, I already said age, those play factors into where that point is. So what we did with him back in August 2024 is we found that true kind of starting point. Now, he came to me on this GLP-1 supplement. So he was on the GLP-1 supplement at this time, right? Now, the hard thing about him when he came to me being on that supplement, not only, the issues that will eventually arise in this timeline, but it's hard to find kind of a maintenance when the whole point of the GLP-1 is to suppress appetite, so you eat less, right? Again, in certain populations, certain instances, that can be great, right? If I'm, a chronic overeater, right? If I have, maybe some, I don't have the best, eating habits, and I just need a little bit of a starting point. I don't think GLP-1 is a long-term solution. I think it can be a gateway to a positive outcome. But, no matter what it is, unless you have, certain issues, or medical issues, or life-threatening things, you shouldn't be on a medication for a super long kind of extended period of time, right? Obviously, there's outliers, right? Like you can't bundle everything into one group, but if you want to be healthy, feel good all the time, I don't think it's a long-term solution. So we had some issues because he's on GLP-1, which is suppressing the appetite, but we're trying to find maintenance calories so that we can, maybe eat more, give our body enough energy. So we did have some issues, but what we ended up doing was trying to find a maintenance calories. When he would eat, he could only eat so much, which was fine. We were kind of in, a calorie deficit, but we had a good kind of foundation, or a good kind of happy medium is what I'm trying to get at. So I already talked about the stomach issues, so I'm not going to spend too much time kind of on that and everything, but he initially lost weight on the GLP-1. He started GLP-1, then he came to me, and he was losing weight at that time. So right when he kind of started with me, and shortly before that, he was on GLP-1 and he was losing weight at that time, kind of, pre-August, right? And then in September, kind of the stomach issues will have started to arise. He's still kind of losing weight a little bit at this time, but he's starting to stall out, and the stomach issues are kind of arising. Now, I want to make something kind of clear, because again, is his experience with he would now be the third client that has been on GLP-1, was initially losing weight, and his stomach issues were I would say kind of moderate. Some people had like lighter stomach issues, but the 3 clients that have had on it did eventually have some sort of a mild, moderate kind of issue there, right? Does everybody have? That's a small sample size. Is everybody going to have those type of issues? I mean, I don't know. I'm just telling you, given like what my experience as a coach was and kind of what we did. And it wasn't just about his like him having stomach issues. I mean, it was affecting his quality of life. Like his quality of life was inhibited because he was unable to properly digest food. I would argue get the calories that he needed, because we are training to build muscle, maintain muscle mass. Because one of the things that issues with the GLP-1 is when I'm on it, I'm restricting calories, which can be a good thing, but I need to do some kind of physical activity to then maintain bone density, muscle mass. And if I'm exerting energy, even if you want to lose weight, I need to be in a calorie deficit, you still need to eat a little bit more in order to maintain bone density and muscle mass while you build muscle, and then while your body starts to kind of work towards losing fat. That can be difficult if the GLP-1 is constantly kind of suppressing your appetite. So actually, under just kind of him talking to me and everything, and us kind of agreeing, like, let's just kind of back off the GLP-1. He went to his doctor, and I think his doctor was actually recommended backing off the GLP-1, and then he started to feel better. And then he, came to me kind of, like I said, the end of October, beginning of November, and was like, I'm completely, off of that. And then that's when you can see the weight loss. That's when the weight loss really started to take off right here. So kind of look up from October, if I can go here, kind of like the end of October, end of September, beginning of October is when he's kind of off of it here. And then that's when kind of like our weight loss, we were starting to get off of it kind of in here. And then this is when the weight loss started to go down. Now, another super big advantage of him actually being off of GLP-1, and we can argue that, did GLP-1 give him that kickstart that he needed? I don't know. I mean, maybe it did, maybe it didn't. But what we are able to do now that he is off of it, right? We don't have that barrier there of the GLP-1 suppressing appetite in order for us to eat more to then improve metabolism. Because one of the foundational principles of when you are trying to find that starting point. So if I go back up here, we have to find that true starting point. You're going to have to eat enough to figure out, what your maintenance level is, what your activity level is. If I go over this, I'm going to gain weight. If I go under this, I'll start to lose weight. You kind of have this range, right? Without being able to eat enough, it's hard for you, or, me or my clients, or if you're doing it on your own or with your coach, it's going to be hard to find kind of that starting point and where that range begins, where you start to gain weight and where you can go to lose weight. And it's going to really be really hard for you to build muscle, keep that bone density up, and increase your metabolism. So if you eat more calories and you train, you work out, you lift weights, you increase your metabolism. Your metabolism goes up because more muscle mass, you have the engine of your car is kind of bigger, right? So that requires more calories to maintain. Think about going from a 6-cylinder engine up to an 8-cylinder engine. That's going to require much more fuel in order for that engine to move. Your body works in a very, very similar way. If I have more calories, I'm training, and I'm building more muscle, my metabolism goes up. So that means I can eat more calories without actually gaining weight or gaining fat, because my body is using those calories to keep the engine moving, to maintaining the muscle mass, rather than storing those extra calories as fat. Then the opposite happens. If I eat less, my metabolism slows. Does that mean that I always need to eat more in order to increase my metabolism? No, but that also doesn't mean that you always need to eat less in order to lose weight. You kind of have to have this dichotomy, and this is one thing that I go over a lot with many of our clients, is that eating calories isn't always bad. Eating less isn't always good, and vice versa. Eating less calories in order to be in a calorie deficit isn't always good. Eating more calories isn't always bad or a surplus or going to lead to weight gain. So why does that matter, though? like, why is this important? Because it's going to be hard to increase your metabolism if you are constantly restricting calories, because the laws of thermodynamics, like I said up here, if you increase your metabolism, I need to eat more calories in order to do that. If I can't increase my calories to increase my metabolism because my calories are restricted and I physically can't eat anymore because I'm full all the time because of what the GLP-1 supplements and medications would do, that's going to be very challenging and very, very hard. Now, given all that being said, this is super, super, super important. And I need you guys to understand this, that once we established maintenance and we increased the metabolism through training, through exercise, we did not lower calories, still haven't lowered calories in 3 months since October, once we've kind of found that threshold. Because we were able to eat enough to fuel our body, we were able to train enough to build muscle, and that was doing enough for us to increase our metabolism, which then puts us in a calorie deficit as well. There's multiple different ways that you can go into a calorie deficit besides eating less, right? You hear all the time, like, you need to be in a calorie deficit to lose weight. You need to be in a calorie deficit to lose weight. You do, but you can get there multiple different ways. It's not simply just eating less food, less calories. Well, less food and less calories aren't the same thing, but it's not just eating less calories in order to lose weight. We can increase the metabolism, which can also then put us into a calorie deficit. And that's the coolest part about this, that you guys, if you're watching this, you can see, is that, like, once we figured out the GLP-1, once we got off that, once we figured out the maintenance, once we got our training dialed in because he wasn't having the stomach issues, the weight just started to go down and go down and go down. And I'm not going to, as a coach, and I don't think, I know a lot of coaches because I know I'm in this profession and a lot of, like, great coaches out there. No good coach would lower calories as you're losing weight just to lower calories. They would all wait for that to plateau, because I don't want to lower calories and risk decreasing the metabolism if your body is still losing weight. That doesn't make any sense, because I want to wait for it to kind of stall out and then you can go there. Think about it like a step. Like, you wouldn't skip a step and jump 3 or 4 steps down with the chance of breaking your leg. You would just take one step at a time, right? As he's starting to lose weight and lose weight and lose weight, we're still training hard. He's being able to recover. We're still able to keep the metabolism high, and the weight is now significantly starting to come off. So this is not only a video to show you kind of, like I said, my experience with GLP-1 and all this stuff, but on top of that, it's also a video to show you the massive power that increasing your metabolism has, and having a good training routine with that, and having a good balanced diet in order to increase your metabolism and achieve your goals, right? It is so, so powerful. If you could put that into a pill, if you could put that into an injection, you wouldn't take GLP-1. You would take this pill or this injection, because it has the ability for you to feel better, have a firing hot metabolism in order to build muscle and lose weight. And like I said, we haven't even changed calories in 3 months because we don't have to, because the metabolism is already so high. So with that being said, I do have to give a shout out to my client Daniel, who's absolutely been crushing it. He's done everything that you could want from a client. He has trusted in my advice. He's also trusted in the process, which is huge. He has bought into the idea of trying to eat more to actually reach his goals, right? And if you want to eat more and you want to have a fire hot metabolism, you can do it. You just need to have the right proper steps in order to not only look great, but also feel great and amazing along the way. Now, if you guys I'm going to give you a little treat. If you're watching the YouTube video or you're listening to the podcast, all I want you to do is, if you want to jumpstart your journey on 2025, if you want to absolutely crush it, if you want to see results like Daniel has, or all of my other clients that I posted in the 2024 recap, if you want to see amazing results like they did, I'm going to give you guys a special offer for $97 for one full month of complete coaching, nutrition, lifestyle, training, everything involved, whether this is in person, online. Most of our clients well, probably a third of our clients, half of our clients are online. So if you've watched this video or you skip to the end because I said there's a cool little treat for you at the end, simply message me YouTube and I will send you over the information to have how to take advantage of that offer so you can not only look good, but also feel good. Have a fire hot metabolism, look incredible in 2025, and we can get that ball rolling. Just simply message me YouTube, and I hope to chat with you guys soon. And also, if you like the podcast, if you like the YouTube video, please give me a thumbs up and make sure you subscribe because I'm going to start putting more great educational free content on here as well.